A leader has to take the risks.
You know, I don't have to fix the sprinklers.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with the maintenance guy, and when something gets broke and you know, the water or something happens, and there's always something. You know what I mean? Go ahead and start recording, Max, just even while we're, did you already? Okay, good. But I just like, I don't want to deal with that stuff anymore. I've always dealt with like putting together everything. I've always kind of been in charge of this and that and everything. And when you're kind of like in a situation like this, you're almost freer now.
You always have lived and owned where you lived.
Everywhere,
right?
yeah.
So
I've never rented in my life.
It's the first time that you don't have to worry about anything.
The first time I've ever paid rent in my life. I've always owned anywhere I lived. And so it's it definitely is a different experience, but I'm kind of liking it, and it's fun.
Well, this is the place to be if you're going to do that.
This is it. So 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 you've been in real estate for how many years now?
I've been in real estate since 2017.
Okay.
So how many years is that? That's like 5-6 years.
Okay. All right.
Right?
And what was it that, like, what was the beginning of like you making that decision? I mean, was that like something you wanted to do all your whole life? Like when you were a little kid, you wanted to be a real estate agent? Or like
when I was a little kid, I wanted to be an attorney, actually.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to be an attorney when I was younger.
Why? Do you like to argue? Is that what it is?
I like to win.
Okay, you like to win.
I like to win, yes.
Win arguments too, though.
With winning.
And arguments especially.
Anything. It could be anything. It could be in the gym, arguments, literally anything.
Sports.
I want to win.
Do you play sports?
I did. No contact sports, so I did cheerleading, gymnastics, dance, but I like to perform as well. Okay. So it's perfect.
And so that's why you like social media?
That's why I like social media.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's a great way to connect.
Because you're on camera a lot. I mean, you do a lot of social media, so we're going to talk a little bit more about that too.
I enjoy it.
Okay.
But yeah, I grew up playing sports. I was actually really shy when I was younger.
Really?
So it took a lot for me to come out of my shell. Okay. But I knew that if I wanted to be successful, I couldn't be shy, and that it's something that I would have to work on, a skill and a new characteristic of me that I'd have to force myself to have.
Right.
And so I decided to just, put myself out there and, just be more social, less shy.
So you were a good kid growing up?
I was,
or bad kid?
No.
No?
Terrible. I was a terrible kid.
Did you get good grades though? I mean...
I would say I was like average when it comes to grades. I wasn't an overachiever when it comes to my grades, because even when I was a kid, I knew that, I'm really not going to use much of this when I get older. How is this directly going to help me? I'm going to do good enough to graduate, but I don't need to be an A+ student. That was my mentality back then. Because I already knew that I was going to be some sort of entrepreneur, like work for myself eventually.
So you knew at a young age that you did not want to be like an employee type person.
Correct. Yeah.
You knew that. And why do you think you're different? Because 95% of the world, they're just going to be an employee.
Yeah.
What was it like? What was the allure of wanting to be an entrepreneur?
Having freedom and being able to make my own decisions and calling the shots and being able to spend more time with my family and my loved ones.
All right.
So that really drove me to become an entrepreneur.
And do you notice that, because you're kind of newer in being an entrepreneur and you're kind of getting your business going and you're kind of on your way to the top, you're doing really well right now, but do you notice that you have more time or less time sometimes?
That's a great...
Because think about it, right? We all get this, freedom lives here and it's awesome and being an entrepreneur and everything. But the truth is, in the beginning years, you're working your ass off.
No, that's true.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
I mean,
I just closed a deal before I came here and I was driving for hours. So yeah, I would say that the goal, eventually would be to retire and have freedom and own multiple companies. Okay. But in the beginning, you do not have as much time as you might think. Yeah, you're definitely gonna be working more than you would at your 9-to-5 job. Way more.
It's kind of like that, right? Everybody sells that dream of like freedom and choices and options, obviously wealth on the beach. Okay. Everybody wants the wealth on the beach, but most people, they don't want to do what it takes to get the wealth on the beach. Do you see that?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. But I think that when you are an entrepreneur, even though you're working more hours, it's coming from a different place because you know you're working for yourself, you know your purpose, you know why you're doing it. So it's easier for you to want to do it because it's for you and your bigger goals and your dreams as opposed to for somebody else. You know, if you're working a 9 to 5 and you're working for somebody else, you could have been spending that 8 hours of time doing something for yourself,
right,
or doing something that directly correlates with your own goals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so how is it that a young woman in real estate, okay, I mean, like, so you go into real estate, and not only do you go into real estate, you go into commercial real estate, by the way.
I started in residential.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I started in residential, and then after 1 year of doing residential real estate, I started doing commercial real estate as well.
Okay.
So now I do both, mostly commercial.
Okay. And so why commercial? Because nobody would ever, at least most people are not going to choose commercial.
Right.
So why did you choose commercial?
You know, there's more opportunity in commercial.
Okay.
There's a lot more opportunity. There's a lot more opportunity to work with business owners.
So why don't most people go? Why don't most
It's
realtors
not
just
easy.
go?
That's why.
It's harder.
Not easy.
Why is it harder? So what's the difference?
It's
Why?
more complex.
Okay.
There are many different aspects to commercial real estate, different types of commercial real estate. It could be confusing. It could be intimidating. And there's not a lot of leaders in commercial real estate who are willing to help somebody who is new because it's not easy. So you have to find the right mentor and just be resourceful. Like I wanted to do commercial real estate and I was working at a residential brokerage. So I already knew that my broker couldn't necessarily like help me with the questions that I had. So I called top brokers at like MGR, Lee and Associates, Marcus and Millchap, and I asked them for help, and I paid them a cut of my commission initially so they can help me.
Wow.
And then after doing like 2 or 3 deals.
So you put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
Huh? I mean, you were like, all right, I'm going to pay somebody.
Yes.
For how important is it to pay somebody like to
Right.
be a mentor? Is it important?
I think that, I mean, nobody wants to work for free, and you shouldn't expect anything from anybody. You know, I think that you should be willing to pay them. Some people, I think, feel like, oh, you should be my mentor.
Right.
And you're like, well, why? Why should I? I don't have to, you know? What's in it for me? So you can't be selfish. You have to be willing to give back. And you don't just want a coffee. You don't want to just be like, hey, can I have an hour of your time and I'll buy you coffee? No, like you would want more, right? I mean, I think you would.
I think it's interesting. Well, no, I think it's an interesting subject because for the real estate business, I noticed this because I know I have a lot of real estate friends. I noticed that in the real estate business, realtors are always willing to pay for mentorship. I mean, the guy that sold me my house 5-6 years ago in Rancho, you know, he pays his mentor like $1,000 a month, you know, just to get on like a call a week, like one call a week, he pays him $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
And so, but for some reason, other industries, especially financial services or multi-level businesses and things like that, people in those businesses, I notice that they are not willing to, a lot of them are not willing to pay for mentorship because they feel like, okay, well, if I make money and I do well, then this person's going to benefit or whatever, which is fine. But they should be willing. I think realtors make more money on average than a lot of people in some of these other industries. I think because of that reason, because they're willing to put their money where their mouth is. They're willing to pay a mentor. They're willing to be accountable. They're willing to show up every day and go in the office and drive 100 million miles a day and fucking get it done. Like they're willing to figure it out, like, and just to do it. So I don't know. What do you think? I mean, do you notice that too?
No, I think that's true. 100%. With realtors. But I think that, I mean, as a real estate agent, you go into the industry, at least I did, expecting that I'm going to have to solve problems, put out fires, negotiate deals. And in financial services, I'm not sure if that's what people go in, you know, to that industry and expect that they're going to negotiate or put out fires, solve problems.
Right. But well, they might feel like they're going to do those things. I just think that there's a mentality in some industries, and I wasn't one of those people. I was willing. I went to every friggin' seminar. I paid out tens of thousands of dollars early on to find mentorship, to spend time with people, was willing to be on all the calls and all the conference calls and all the different, things that I needed to do, because I just wanted to be successful. I just wanted to win. I wanted to be somebody. I wanted to change my life. And I knew the only way, and the best way, and the easiest way, and the fastest way was for me to pay somebody, or really be accountable to somebody that knew what they were doing and had the success that I wanted. So I figured if I just followed this dude, I was going to be way more successful than most everybody else.
Oh yeah.
Because most people aren't going to do it. Most people are not willing to do the work.
Not willing to do the work or take that risk. And a lot of people, they don't believe in themselves.
Right.
So a lot of people don't believe in themselves.
Why is that? Why do you think? And by the way, because I notice, and I could be totally wrong, but I notice sometimes women have a challenge of believing in themselves.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I see that a lot.
Okay.
Why?
Yeah, why? Why do you think women sometimes feel like, because I believe, and I think you've heard me say this before, I believe this is the decade of the woman. Like, I really believe that women are killing it right now.
Yep.
And I believe that that this is like the greatest opportunity that women have ever had. As long as they don't mess it up, right? As long as they don't mess it up. Well, because I think...
Don't ruin it, you guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, women, don't ruin it, right?
I love how Max is just watching us.
Do you notice what I'm talking about, though? Like, women are kind of in control right now. Women are... Man, they are, they're calling the shots, man. I mean, they're becoming presidents and prime ministers and governors and powerful people. I mean, so many women. Even the company that I represent, we have 50. I think it's like 56% of the company now is women. Oh wow! So the company is more. The majority is women. Yeah. And so, and I know real estate has tons of women right now. And so, but I think that the belief level sometimes, and this would be my guess, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe sometimes women are unsure of themselves just because of, a lot of trauma through a lot of decades of putting women down. And now all of a sudden we're saying, okay, be whatever you want to be. Yeah. Go, sky's the limit. You can change your life if you want to. And some women are like, well, maybe I can't do that, or maybe this is not, maybe me as a woman, I'm lesser than these people, and I think some women still have a piece of that inside of them. Yeah. And, now granted, everybody wants to go their own path and do their own thing, which is cool, but I mean, I don't know, what do you...
No, I believe that too, yeah. I think that's probably why some women are hesitant to go after what they want. It's just their belief system, their lack of faith in themselves and what they feel that like they can achieve, or
and how do they solve
right
that?
Or wrong.
How do they solve that? Like, what would be your advice to a woman that maybe their self-esteem's a little bit lower? What would you recommend for them to do to solve that issue?
Well, I think that, we only have one life to live. We literally only have one opportunity at life. So why would you want to go on and spend your life and your time not knowing what you're truly capable of achieving? Like, you're going to live with regret. You're going to wake up one day, you're going to be 80, you're going to be older, and you're not going to have the same opportunity that you did when you were younger. So I think that instead of living with regret, you should go after whatever it is that you want.
Do you think that sometimes people worry too much about what other people think about them?
Sometimes, yeah. And confidence is built, confidence is built when you keep the promises you make to yourself. And every time you go after a goal that you want and you do succeed, even if you fail the first couple of times, once you do succeed, you build confidence. So I think that once you get over that hurdle and that fear of, failure, then that's when you really see like growth, when you see yourself succeed and win, and then you just do it again and again and again and again.
Have you ever had failure?
Yes, of course. Okay. But the way that the reason why I hesitate is because the way I view failure isn't like so scary, oh my god, like I almost died, it was horrible, I failed. No, I view it as like a lesson learned. So I view it as like a step of growth, because I feel like failure, people have that word and they're like, oh my God, that's like the worst thing you can ever do is fail. But that's not the way that I view failure. I view it as just a step of growth.
I think that failure should always be failing forward.
Right.
It's like, if I'm going to fail, if I'm going to have a challenge or rejection or something like that, because I mean, we're both in industries that we get a lot of rejection. People tell you no all the time. People take you to go see houses and they never buy from you. You know, that happens all the time, right? And so you can look at it as like, okay, that's a rejection, or you can look at it as, okay, well, I just need to see more people. I just need to take more people on appointments, right?
Usually it doesn't mean no, it means no, not right now.
Not right now.
But yes, later. Yeah. Like out of all the people I've showed houses to, the majority, I would say like 80 to 90% of them did buy, whether it was right there or it was later. Yeah.
And so what do you think, I mean, propels you to have that kind of that persistence, you know, because you're very, very persistent. So what drives you to be that persistent? How do you get that persistence? What would you say?
I would say that, you know, I think it's important to be the person that you've always envisioned yourself becoming. And for me, that's a persistent person. That's somebody who has everything that they've dreamed of. That's somebody that doesn't quit. And that's somebody that just continues moving forward no matter what life throws at you. Just being resilient. I think you have to be resilient in order to succeed and to have what you want. So that's what drives me. Just envisioning my future with my family, my future kids, my parents as they get older, and being able to take care of my family. That's enough to keep me wanting to move forward.
That's awesome. All right, so how important is it to get on social media as far as like building your brand, creating leads, things like that? Like, how important is social media?
Very important, actually.
Why?
Like 95% of my business comes from social media. Like literally, that's almost like all of my business from social media. It's super important, and I think it's really simple and it's easier than people think. Plus, it's free. It's literally free. So why are you not going to utilize something that's free? Like, why wouldn't you do that? It takes 5 seconds to just do a quick video or say hello to your followers, and it's really simple. So yeah, every time I post something or a video of like me and my clients getting into a new commercial space, it gets a lot of shares, and then I get more clients. So it's 100% worth it.
And so what's the process? Okay, so first step is we got to turn on the camera and we got to record.
Yes.
So that's the first hesitation.
Right?
Because most people don't press record. They're like afraid of pressing record.
I think, you have to pretend like if you press record, there's a $20,000 check waiting for you.
Love it.
In like 1 week.
Love it.
Just pretend. So to get out of your head, because what's stopping people is their thought process, the way that they're thinking. You have all this fear, it's literally in your head. And I think that if you get in front of the camera and just remember to bring value to your audience, it's not about you, it's about the audience. Like, who cares about what you look like? Who cares about what other people are going to think? Stop being so self-absorbed. That's what I think.
Because they're thinking about, like, as I'm saying this, what is my mom going to say?
Right.
What is my best friend going to say? Isn't that kind of what people are doing?
That's what people are thinking now. Are they going to judge me? What's going to happen? But whatever service you're offering, you're going to offer it on camera. So you are helping people. You're helping people and you're helping yourself once you get clients from that video.
And so step number one is you got to turn on the record, and you got to press record, and you got to say what you want to say.
Yes.
And by the way, you know, today we're in a unbelievable time right now. And I was actually just telling Max that, and I've showed him this before, that a lot of the stuff that I do, believe it or not, is scripted.
Oh.
Because I can now with ChatGPT, I can actually go on there, type in ChatGPT, and I can say, give me the top 5 rules for, you know, X, Y, Z, whatever subject. I mean, you can say, what's the top 5 rules at being a great salesperson? Or what's the top 5 rules at, you know, how to live a healthy lifestyle? Or what's the 5? I mean, shoot, the other day I asked it to build me a grocery list.
Oh, wow.
Based on the things that I like
Dairy
and what
free.
I don't like.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I did this. So it built me an awesome list.
Uh-huh.
I asked it for a workout routine based on what I want to look like.
Oh, wow.
Like literally what I want my
Okay.
body to look like. This is what the workout routine was for that.
That's really neat.
Now, I haven't been able to walk for the last 3 days,
Mm-hmm.
but this is the beauty of this whole new world of AI is now, and then all you do is you have a teleprompter app on your phone and you can literally read. Now, granted, all you do is you take the point, you read the point, and then you just expand on your own ideas though, right? You give your own stories and it's your own words. So you're not just reading 100%, but it's like having a bullet point allows you to make it so much easier. Now it prompts your brain and to think about, okay, well, if I say this, oh yeah, I remember this story about that happened to me one time. And then you can expand on it as a story in your video. So I just think people are not taking advantage, because the hardest part is just sitting in front of a camera and staring at this camera, this little black dot right there, and you're looking at this little black dot, and it scares people because they don't know what to say.
Right.
They go blank when they look at that thing. And so having something to prompt you through a full-on little minute and a half talk to leave a reel is, I think, so valuable for people to do in the future. And so I don't know. But,
I think so too. I think so too. I think people should utilize it. It's free. It's there. So if that's going to help somebody, why not?
Right.
Everyone has like their own different techniques. Personally, I like to just be more natural, and it's anything that I do on social media is like non-scripted, but that's just how I work. I like to talk to the camera like I'm talking to my friends and family, and that makes me most comfortable, just being like,
that's awesome,
organic.
Absolutely.
So that's what works for me. I think just pretending like the camera is your friend.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're having trouble being natural and just talking and just having a conversation, then you need to start utilizing the technology.
Yeah.
If you're somebody that is natural like Mariah, that just can boom off the cuff, speak for however long she wants just by whatever she's thinking, then do it that way. But whatever it is that they do, they need to do something.
You need to do something.
Right.
And I feel the way that I got over my fear, because I started doing videos like way back in 2017 when I first got licensed. I was about 21, 22 years old back then. And the way that I got over that fear was literally just pretending like success was on the other side. Like, if I do this video, I'm gonna be successful. You know, you have to tell yourself messages like that. If I do this video, people are going to see it, people are going to share it, it's getting the message out about my business, and that's what's going to help me. So you're really doing it, it's for yourself. Like, you have to do it.
Right.
It's not an option.
Okay. So we're going to record now. So what happens after the recording? What's the next step for you? Like, do you leave comments? Do you answer all your comments? Do you answer your DMs? Do you what's your process after you leave that video?
So I will record the video. Sometimes I record it myself. Sometimes I have a professional videographer record it, which I think is important to invest in yourself and have, some professional videos as well. I'll post the video online, and then once people start commenting, within the first hour, I try to get back to like all the comments and respond to everybody.
So right away you get back.
Right away, I try to do it right away.
Okay. And do you feel that these people that are reaching out to you, they're watching the video, you're recognizing that you just opened up escrow or you close an escrow or whatever, and you're in there, and then they go, hey, so tell me a little bit more about you. Like, what type of messages do you get?
Yeah, they do. If you have a business account, you can see the insights. So you can actually see how many people shared your video. For example, 50 people shared your video, 70 people saved your video, and then 20 or 40 people commented on your video. So you could see all that insight if you have a business account, which I think is really, really helpful. I get comments and DMs from other potential buyers, sellers, or business owners who need a new commercial location, which I do a lot of commercial leasing and sales. So I might get a business owner that said, hey, I saw that video you posted with that restaurant owner. I own my own restaurant and I'm looking to open up my second location. Can you help me? And I'll say, yeah, of course. I mean, that's the whole reason why I did the video. Then once you start seeing results like that, you know that your videos are working, and then it just makes you want to build more videos. You build some confidence, and you just continue on doing that.
And how many weird DMs do you get from like weirdos? That's what I want to know. I'm
just
curious
you,
about that.
Just
me. I'm the only weirdo DMer guy.
You.
Yeah, okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
So, I mean, is it though? Is it a thing? Because I don't get a lot of weird DMs, but I've heard that women, because I've interviewed other women before, and they're like, I get some weird ass video, videos. And pictures and shit like that. I mean, is it sometimes true. Like, do you get weird things from guys?
Pretty often, yes.
Okay. Right.
But you have to use your best judgment. You can tell, what someone's intention is from the message. I mean, at least I can tell. And if you can't, you ask them a couple questions. Oh, okay, so how long have you owned your business? What's the address? You have to kind of pre-qualify these guys in the DM to see if they really are serious about business or not before even.
Is it scary sometimes, like when you go on an appointment? I mean, have you ever been scared before?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about a story of maybe a situation where you were scared.
I think I was scared because I knew that I didn't pre-qualify them first. I didn't ask the pre-qualifying questions. I didn't ask them, can I see your bank statements? Are you pre-approved? How long have you been looking? I kind of just showed up to the appointment. This was years ago, and so I felt a little bit uneasy because I didn't really know the guy that much, and I'm showing him houses alone, which I would never, ever, ever do. And thank God nothing happened. Everything was fine. But I think that when you pre-qualify people, you get peace of mind, so you're not so nervous about someone that you don't know.
Yeah, because that's scary. That's probably scary. I mean, for a lot of real estate women that are, because you're going into an apartment that all by yourself.
Right.
There's a lock on that door. You know what I mean? It's like, that's weird shit, right? I mean, it's kind of like Uber now. Think about Uber. Your mom always told you, don't ever get in a car with a stranger.
And now we're just
now we're Ubering everywhere with strangers that you've never met in your life.
I agree. Yeah. So unless the person's, pre-approved, or I've seen their financials, I've seen their bank statements, I've had multiple conversations with them on the phone. I've Googled them, their business, their Instagram, I've identified who they are. I'm not meeting with them in person, or I'm not showing them properties. And a lot of times when I do show properties to a male just alone, even if I did pre-qualify them, I will bring my assistant with me.
Okay.
I will bring my assistant with me to come with the tours for the first couple of times, just to make sure.
That's smart. Yeah. Very smart. Very smart. And so, I mean, how do you, so you're young, you got things rocking, you're going to make a lot of money. How much are you going to make this year? What would you guesstimate? Or what's your goal? What's your goal? Yeah, what's your guestimate and what's your goal to make this year?
My goal is to make over $500,000 this year.
Right. So $500,000, you're 28 years old.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal. That's a lot of money. Well, first of all, what are you going to do with $500,000? Like, what's your plan? Like, your game plan financially? What will you do? Are you a pretty good saver? Are you a good saver, or are you a spender?
I am a great saver. I can be both. So I am a great saver.
Because you got nice bags all the time and all that kind of stuff. You drink a lot of Starbucks coffee, so that you got the bags. And,
I am a great saver. So,
and you got a nice car too.
Thank
so
you.
There
Thank
you.
You. I like to invest my money.
Okay.
So I will spend things on items that I feel are going to make me more money.
Okay.
So I will invest in real estate, I will invest in life insurance, IULs, I will invest in some material.
Well, that's another subject that we got to be very careful of. So, we'll probably have to take that out of the video now, because that's like, we now are going to go on a whole other subject.
No, you should just leave it so you get more comments.
Well, that's going to be a lot of comments, because y'all leave comments on why she should never buy an IUL. So, yeah, for sure.
Also, I will invest in my business. So I invest in the videographers, my assistant who's my employee. gifts for clients, marketing. So reinvesting in my business, seminars, coaching, I'll fly to different states to go to seminars about real estate or learn how to invest my money different ways.
So what's the percentage? What would you say the percentage of money that you spend investing into your business? Like what would you guess if you were to guess?
I would say probably around maybe 20 to 30%.
Okay, and then how much what's your goal? Like how much do you want to save? Like what percentage?
I save most of my money.
You save most
of it. So I save most of it.
So you're saving probably 50%?
Below my means.
So you're probably saving 50% of your income,
I
do you
would
think?
say,
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. So you want to save it, put it somewhere where you can get it to really grow.
Yes.
So you can get that compound interest going for you. And then of course real estate. I mean, if you can find great propities,
great deals,
some multi-family units or something like that, I mean, start to really build 28 years old, by the time you're my age, you'll have a real estate empire paying you massive passive income. So that's huge. That's huge. It's a big deal.
And I want to invest in my first business this year.
Okay.
So I want to purchase a franchise.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of franchise? I mean,
probably that's where I'm still considering.
You want to do like a fast food or something like that?
Maybe a fast food, a restaurant, a gym. I'm looking right now and doing research on different options to see which one would pay me back, the most. Right. Because I can't really be an owner operator right now. I can't be as hands on as I'd like because I am so busy and booked in real estate. So I would need a partner to kind of take that job on while I'm still working in real estate. Yeah,
that's smart. That's smart. You're trying to cover all the bases. I love it. So okay, now you're young. Hobbies? Do you have any hobbies? What's your hobbies?
This is my hobby.
This is your hobby. Exactly. Okay.
And
drinking champagne. There we go.
What kind of champagne?
This is over here.
Is this yours?
I'm not sure. Yeah, this one's mine. So yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yes.
Cheers. All right.
My hobbies are because I am working a lot and I'm constantly putting out fires and I'm constantly negotiating deals. I'm driving on the road. When I do have free time, I like to just be slow and stop and go for a hike, read a book, do things that are very mellow. Okay. I like to go to the gym. That's not so mellow, but I love taking out my energy and aggression in the gym, feeling
boxing.
strong.
You should do boxing.
I have tried boxing.
Have you really?
Love it.
Oh,
yeah,
that's good.
That was fun. Riding bikes, going to the beach, reading a book. Yeah, all things very, very calm.
Awesome. And so is that when you think about getting that balance, because a lot of people they can't figure out how to do that balance because they're either way into their hobbies and they make no money, or they're way into their job and they screw up everything else in their life. You know what I mean? So how do you get that balance?
I think you have to remember, what's most important to you and think about what's going to benefit you and your future later on. Is it going to be your hobbies or is it going to be working and focusing on your career? Because you're going to pay the price eventually, whether it's today or later, you are going to pay a price.
Right.
So do you want to work hard now so you can relax later, or do you want to play now, relax, and suffer when you're older? Yeah. You decide what's most important to you.
Yeah, it sounds like you read my book because
is that what you said in your book?
This is what I've been preaching for the last 25 years is that. Right? I mean, I wanted to work really, really hard. Yeah. And then I lived way below my means. Right. Because I wanted to save and invest. I wanted to put everything to investments, everything to saving, so that way I could have the rest of my life off. And that's kind of what happened. I mean, at 28, I had built enough. You were already retired. Well, I mean, I never really fully retired, but I had the option to retire if I wanted to. But it was just I just wanted to get free. Yeah. It was the freedom that I was after, so that way I could do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. I mean, I love, somebody asked me the other day, why do you do a podcast? Why do you do YouTube? Why do you do, social media? Why do you do all this stuff? You don't have to. And because it's not like I'm getting rich doing YouTube, or I'm not a, although Max is trying to get me to become a superstar YouTuber that makes bazillions of dollars online.
Yeah.
But we're not there yet. We will be there.
We will.
And I'm going to share all my profits with Max when he
Okay.
helps me get there. Okay. So it's not about the money. It's just, I love to do it. I love to meet new people. I love to build new relationships. I love to talk to different people. I love to have conversations. I love to hang out with people, you know, that are really successful so that I just want to be in that sphere of influence. And I think that not only can I maybe bring a little bit of value to their life, but they could also bring some value to my life, and we can maybe help each other or collaborate or, you know, I mean, even this, right? I mean, you're going to post some of this on your channel. I'm going to post it on my channel. So my audience, my full audience is going to be watching you. And they're going to say, oh, when I need commercial real estate or regular real estate or whatever, they're going to go, hey, I want to work with her. She's really cool. She's really smart. She's, you know, she knows her shit. And then same thing, right? People might look at me and they go, hey, you know, I'd love to know more about him or whatever. Maybe they'll buy my book or something like that. So we're all trying to help each other.
We are all
some way,
helping
somehow,
each other.
right?
Yes.
So, and the power of collaboration. You think that's important?
So important. Oh my goodness. You don't know how many opportunities I have received by collaborating with people. Whether I happen to be in the room, that's how we met. We're collaborating here now because we met at a seminar. You were speaking on stage that day.
All right.
And that's how we met. You happened to come off the stage. We crossed paths. I said hello. And now we're here.
That's it. It's crazy. Yeah. And then now you're going to impact my audience and I'm going to impact your audience and we're going to try to help some people.
Yes.
So, all right. So walk me through maybe a memorable transaction, like maybe one of your biggest transactions.
There's so many.
You know, well, give me one of the big ones and kind of walk me through a little bit of like, how did you get the client? Was there any challenges involved, and how much money did you make? You know, and just kind of walk me through one of your favorite situations.
I will walk you through one. This is an older transaction. By the way, I'm very fortunate to have a lot of my transactions go smoothly and close. Because I am so persistent. I make sure that they close, and if there's a problem, I resolve it. So I don't have a ton of stories where it was terrible, but I will give you one story that I had a lot of hiccups in between. I had to, you know, overcome a lot of problems, and the listing agent was like, oh my gosh, she was something else.
Wasn't good.
She was rude, and she was taking things out on me personally. And I was younger at the time. At the time, I was probably maybe around 23 years old. It was the biggest transaction that I had, so I'm bringing it up. It was over $1 million. It was in Orange County, and the commission was just over 20 grand. And I remember that listing agent, when she saw me, I think she was shocked that I was the one bringing in the buyer when she met me in person. You were so young.
I was so
young. Yeah, plus I'm really small too.
Right. And you were a lot smaller back 7 years ago, right?
No. I was the same size,
but you probably looked
younger.
Even younger.
I look even younger because I'm just so petite.
Right.
Yeah. So she was like, wow, we were walking around and she was making comments about me to my client. And she was like, well, how'd you guys meet? You know, she was just in shock that I was representing him. I wasn't in shock. I'm like, I deserve to be here. I work hard. You know, I'm bringing you the buyer. I don't understand why you're acting like this. But she would make a comment like, well, you know, this HVAC here is older than Mariah. Yeah, I think the HVAC is older than Mariah.
So she was hating on you, man.
She was so hating on me. Yeah. So she was just making comments left and right, making things uncomfortable about, you know, having me there, bringing in the buyer. But yeah, it was fun.
And so
I met him. You want to know how I met him?
Yeah.
I actually met him on Zillow.
Okay.
Yeah. So agents can pay for marketing on Zillow if they would like. And it has your picture.
Do you do that?
I used to.
Okay.
I don't now.
Why?
I have so many referrals that I don't
You're like,
have
why
to
I'm
pay.
wasting money? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you don't really pay for leads then?
I don't. I have not paid for. I paid for leads for about 1 year, and mind you, let me rephrase that. I wasn't the one that was paying for the leads. I think it's important to be resourceful. I had a lender. I went to my lender and I said, you know, we're partners.
Yeah.
I will give you X amount of business if you invest in me.
Wow.
Mind you, I was younger at the time, just starting.
Smart though, right?
And I will give you X amount of business if you invest in me. Like, what do you think about purchasing Zillow leads? And he said, yeah. So he was paying for the leads. Wow. And he was the lender. He repped the client. And
how did you think of that? So, how did you figure that out? Did you learn that somewhere, like at a seminar, or did you just think about it yourself?
I thought about it.
Okay.
Because, you know, we have so many lenders approaching us as realtors. So, you know,
and they want your business.
They want your business. Yeah, there's so many lenders that are always approaching
and they're making
us.
a shit ton of money.
They are.
So might as
So
well.
if they need to do things, you know, to stand out. So my lenders who do invest in me and pay for marketing, like I appreciate that. I'm loyal to them. It's not like I have 10 lenders. I only have like 2. And so, so I ended up, that's how I met the client on Zillow. Awesome. He was the lead. He actually already had a realtor friend, but he decided to work with me. And so we got him into escrow. The commission was a little over 20 grand. And that was probably one of the most memorable transactions because that was my biggest commission at that time. Okay. Yeah.
And so how do you approach pricing properties and negotiating deals? Like when you think about pricing commercial property or a regular house or something like that, what's your thoughts, especially in this market right now? What are your thoughts about like pricing them out?
Right now, I mean, the interest rates are high, especially compared to the last 2 years and like during COVID when everyone was purchasing and people were moving their appraisal contingencies and their interest rates were only like 2.5%.
Right.
Like those times are long gone. So now if you have a property and you're putting it on the market, you need to price it right the first time. And I would say price it slightly below market value. So if you're looking at the comps, whatever comps you're looking at, I would price it below. Less. Maybe like 20 to 25 grand less.
In commercial property, different, same?
In commercial property, it is different. So I'm speaking about residential. In commercial, it's actually still busy right now. I'm working with multiple buyers and multiple business owners, and it's still really, really busy. So that market's like completely different. The interest rates are still high, but there's still more opportunity for business owners to purchase a building using an SBA loan where they only have to put down 10% and their payments aren't really as high compared to the residential market.
And so what are, like, if you were to think about misconceptions and myths, because there are people that want to go into real estate, like they want to be a real, are there any misconceptions or myths about real estate agents?
So many.
So what are a couple that you could think
I think a couple, one made me laugh. I was talking to my girlfriend the other day and she's not in the industry. She thinks she might want to be in the industry. And she's like, Mariah, is everyone in the industry pretty? Like, is everybody just beautiful models? Like, because she watches those shows, like $1 Million Listing Agent. Like,
are they all pretty on those shows?
Like
because I don't watch them.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's like, is everyone walking around like a model? And like, that's how everyone looks. And I'm like, no, girl, that's not.
You're like, seriously? I saw like 3 really ugly real estate agents.
I'm like, no. Yeah. So that's a misconception for sure. I think that, you know, people think real estate agents could just do whatever they want because you have so much time. You definitely don't have as much time in the beginning. You're going to be working a lot, driving a lot, hearing a lot of no's. So you really cannot give up. You can't be someone who gives up easily to be in this industry. It's not an easy industry to be in. I think it's one of the toughest industries to be in, to be honest. Yeah. So you have to really want it. Has to come from the heart and not, you know, because you want to make a lot of money. Yeah.
And how important is it that you show up on time? Like when you're meeting clients or you're meeting someone?
It's
like
so important. I know I was late today.
How important is it? Like, is that like one of the first laws of being in real estate? I mean, really though, like if you show up with a client or something like that, is it really important?
Are you telling me this because I'm late?
No. I'm just. It was just already on here already. Just a question.
It's very important to be early. Yeah.
You should be early.
You should be 5-10 minutes early, if that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just checking.
Yeah.
Just
I
because I'm not
remember
sure.
You were late that time in the rain. It was raining.
Was I late?
You were late.
No, I was not.
I didn't even have an umbrella. I didn't have an umbrella. So I
wasn't the agent. I was the client. The client can be late.
Yeah.
Well, I guess. Well, I guess today you're kind of like the client though, so it's okay that you were late because you're kind of like the client.
Yeah.
So yeah, because you're the client, you're my guest on the podcast.
Yes.
So okay,
True.
yeah.
Okay.
So I guess it was okay that you were late, but yeah, you were really late. So anyways, but let's go to the next question. You know, so no, but I do want to talk about that because you know, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, and I know if you're dealing with a client, and I know you were dealing with a client today, and that's why what happened, you're closing escrow. I mean, look, I would tell any one of my agents, close the fucking deal. You know what I mean? Like, go make it happen, do what you got to do. We'll figure out how to take care of the podcast later. You know what I mean? Really, and that is important because you focused on results today. Yeah, that's important. Doing a podcast is not a result. This is maybe a lead potential, a lead generation for you, but it's not a result. So I'm glad from the standpoint as a leader of a lot of people, and I've been running an organization of salespeople for 25 years. I'm happy that you chose to go close the deal over being on time. And I mean that. I mean, although I wasn't happy that you weren't on time, forgiveness. but I really think that I would tell every one of my agents, man, close the deal. Yeah. Go make it happen. Figure it out. If you got to show up late, you got to do what you got to do. You need to be there and sign the, because it's about getting checks, man. I mean, right? I mean, how important are results?
It's very, very important. And everything. Sometimes you're in a circumstance where you have to choose, which one you have to move forward with or prioritize.
That's it. But it's always like, I think salespeople, more than anything, we have to focus on results. There's so many real estate agents that they do a million things that have nothing to do with results.
That's terrible.
Right? They sit in the office all day long. What the hell are they doing all day long? They're scrolling on their social media. They don't make any videos. They didn't make any videos. They didn't create any content. They didn't call any prospects. They didn't go out and prospect. They didn't network. They didn't meet anybody new this week. But they think they're real estate agents. They think they're salespeople. What do you think about that?
That makes me take a deep breath just thinking about it.
It's scary, huh?
It is scary, yeah. You have to take actions that are going to create results. Like if you don't have any opportunities right now, let's say you got 0 leads, you got nothing. That's a pretty scary position to be in. So you have to create opportunities. You have to make those phone calls. You have to go door knock if you have to door knock. Maybe attend some seminars where you can network and meet with new people. But you have to go create the opportunity. The opportunity is not going to fall out of the sky into your lap in your office while you're scrolling on your phone. So you have to go find it. And don't be afraid to find it.
All right. So what are some of the objections that you get? Maybe the most common. Think about maybe 1 or 2. What are some objections that you get?
Some objections.
Yeah, like just in the field, working with a client or, trying to close a deal and they come up with this last objection. What would you say one of those things are?
I would say a lot of people, the most common objection that I would get would be something where they're afraid. Like they're afraid, like they might not do well. If it's a business owner. Okay. They're afraid maybe they might not do well.
So maybe the business might not be successful.
Yes. They're scared. Same thing if I'm helping a buyer and it's maybe their first time, they're scared. They're afraid. And it could be different things.
How do you overcome it?
I have to instill confidence in that person.
And what are some of the things you say?
I have to be confident. So I think that starts, that's step 1 is you have to be a confident person. So when you are handling an objection with somebody, they trust you. They have to be able to trust you that what you're saying, is true. And so you have to say it with confidence. So let's go over an objection right now. I don't know. Yeah, be afraid.
Well, I just don't think I'm nervous because it's going to be like $5,000 a month. If I buy this, it's going to cost me $5,000 a month. And how am I going to be able to wonder if we don't succeed, wonder if we don't make money, wonder if I can't get this business off the ground. And so it's kind of why I'm a little hesitant right now to do it. So that's why I'm not moving forward right now.
I see. I understand where you're coming from. So how many years have you been in the industry with your business?
Well, we've been doing it about 10 years now. Yeah.
10 years. Okay. And how many locations do you have right now?
Well, we just have one, and this is kind of like our next, right? We want to expand, and we want to, but we're nervous about how can we do it.
And why is it that you want to expand? Why is that so important to you?
Well, because we've been pretty successful on the first one. You know, I'm just a little nervous because if we start the new one, and of course I want to do well in the new one, but if I end up doing the new one, if it doesn't work out, then we could lose a lot of money.
I understand. Yeah. So you have your first location. You've been doing well for a little over 10 years, and you want to grow, right? Yeah. Why do you think right now is a good time for you to grow?
Well, our industry is growing like crazy. People need our products, and our products have, you know, they kind of sell themselves. So we've been doing pretty good, and that's kind of where I feel like we're at the right place right now.
Okay. So do you think right now would be a good time versus if you were to wait in a year or so? Do you think if you waited a year, you might be, you know, do better in a year and it would be less expensive for you in a year?
Well, I don't know. I mean, probably with inflation and things like that, probably things are going to be even more expensive in the future. So yeah, I mean, that's why we kind of started thinking about doing it now.
Yeah, that is true. And that year that you might have waited because you possibly want to save, you could have been making money that entire year in your new location.
Yeah, it makes sense. It totally makes sense. Yeah. That's good. I love it. I love it. That's good. Pretty good. Overcoming objections, huh? I like it. I like it. I like it. Any other objections that you get? What other objections do you
I would say most of them are fear. Most of them are fear because if I have a big objection that's common right now is the interest rates are too high, which I totally understand because if someone cannot afford it because the interest rates are so high, then you
not
can't,
a whole lot you can.
Then you can't afford it, or maybe you have to readjust your priorities and your expectations and maybe get something in a different neighborhood or something a lot smaller, less expensive than you might have wanted. So if they're willing to do that, then we can make it work. If not, then that's an objection that you might have to have someone co-sign with you, or if you and your partner could afford it together. There's different ways that you can make it work if you really want to.
And do you think, like, where's that line of being persistent and just like kind of moving on though, you know, like there's got to be a line where you're like, there's nothing I can do. Like, cause I used to think in my business, you know, I can't close them if they're sick, right? I mean, if they have a medical illness, can't give them life insurance. And if they literally are so broke, they can't feed their kids. How are you going to sell them anything? Right. So at some point there's like these lines where, once I can't do that and they have that situation, there's nothing I can do. I got to move on as quickly as I can, though, right?
Yeah, so you have to ask the qualifying questions, and you have to ask yourself, you know, is this person able? Are they willing? And are they ready? Are they able, willing, and ready? If they are able, great. If they're willing, awesome. And if they are ready, then that's perfect. If they're not ready, why? Are they afraid? A lot of times it's just fear, and you can help them overcome that. So you can help them overcome if they are willing or not, and if they're ready or not. But if they're not able to, they literally can't, then that's when you move on. That's the line. If they literally cannot, then you just go on, and that's why you have to talk to X amount of prospects per day, so you have different options, and it's just not these 2 people that you're waiting on.
And that happens a lot.
Your chances. You need more people that you're talking to.
And I think salespeople are notorious for that. I mean, they literally have 2 people they're trying to sell, 2 people they're trying to recruit or something like that. And they just keep trying, and they know that these people aren't going to do it. Right. Some people just aren't going to do it. Some people just, there's nothing you can do for them.
There's nothing you can say or you can do.
Nothing.
They're not going to do it.
So the quicker you move on, the quicker you can get to that good prospect.
Right.
But if you stay stuck on that old prospect for the rest of your life, it just never, like, you're in a never-ending cycle. Nothing will ever grow if you're in that situation, right?
No, that's true. You have to talk to a lot of people.
So as we kind of start closing out here, like the future, okay? The future for you.
Okay.
What's the future for you? What's your goals? We know your income goal, $500,000 this year. But what do you see? Where do you see yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now? What does that look like for you?
5 years from now, I see myself owning my own brokerage, smaller brokerage, where I have maybe 5 to 10 reps, and we do commercial real estate. That's our primary focus.
Okay.
And I see myself owning about 3 different franchises within the next 5 years. Hopefully this is the year where I purchase my first one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I am working, and I'm almost finished getting my NMLS license so I can process the loans and represent buyers with their loans as well. And also getting my life license as well. So I will have more services to offer for my clients. That's where I see myself within the next 5 years, maybe a family, hopefully a family. Yeah, within the next 5 years.
So that's definitely a goal for you, is like, you want the white picket fence and a house and
I do want the
12
white
kids and all that kind of stuff. So,
white
yeah.
picket fence,
Okay.
yes. 12 kids, that's too many kids. I think I would lose them.
How many kids?
One would get lost.
How many kids?
2.
2 kids.
Maybe 3, but I
Okay.
think 2 is like.
Don't do
perfect.
3
I can keep
because
track of them.
then if you do 3, then you got an odd man out.
Oh,
So then
yeah.
when you go to like Disneyland, the mom goes with one
I
kid
didn't
and the
think
dad
about
goes
that.
with, well, what happens to the other kid? You just let him ride by
yeah,
himself?
that's true.
No, I swear, I'm
well,
not
I
even
could
kidding.
ride with them.
I took my kids to Disneyland so many times, right? We always had somebody to ride on the ride with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I
Okay.
recommend.
So 2 it is.
Only
Because
2.
Daniel said I will only have 2 kids.
Daniel
because he
Alonzo said only 2 kids. That is the
Or
way
4.
to do it.
No,
or
4's
4.
too
You
many.
can do 4,
said.
but
Yeah, no.
now it's like, you know,
Yeah.
I don't, you know, the challenge with having too many kids is that sometimes you forget about
I
1
think
or 2.
so, yeah.
You forget. I mean, as a normal human being, you're going to forget. I mean, I got to call my kids all the time and text them all the time. Where you at? What are you doing? Like, imagine if I had like 6
Yeah,
kids.
6 kids.
There's no way. I couldn't
Yeah.
remember to.
You're
Yeah.
right. I don't think I don't even have
Yeah.
a dog right now, so I think 4 kids would be too much for me.
I don't want a dog. I don't
Yeah.
want a dog. I don't want no pets.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to. Yeah, just it's better though.
Yeah. Maybe I'll practice with a puppy for now.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
it's good. Yeah, you could do that. And lastly, you know, just to kind of get a feel of like the industry that you're in, the interest rates, the market, like where do you see this market going? I mean, you're studying it every day.
Yes.
You're seeing it every day. Where do you see interest rates going? What do you think, you know, politically, does that have anything to do with anything right now? Do you care about any of that stuff? You know, tell me a little bit your thoughts about it.
Yeah. Well, right now the interest rates are a lot higher and they're only continually increasing. So I do think that the interest rates are going to continue to increase this year. And unfortunately, the price decrease that we have seen, which isn't by that much, has not been enough to offset the high interest rates. So even though the prices have dropped in comparison to the last, couple months, it's still not enough to offset that high interest rate. So, I mean, right now the people who are purchasing homes are people that really, really want to, or that have to, or that can't afford it. Yeah.
And so obviously that's a major objection,
Right.
Is the interest rate.
Yes.
Is there an effective way to overcome that? I mean, is there kind of a way to do that?
If we can look at your finances and we can see, how much you can afford, how much debt that you have, if you're purchasing with somebody else, that's obviously going to help you a lot. So if you can afford it comfortably, I would say go for it 100%. If you can't, then we don't want to put our clients in a situation where they're going to fail or they are suffering, because they're putting all of their money into their house. Then I wouldn't recommend it. So I think, looking out for your client's best interest is really important. But I also think as a real estate agent, having different avenues and ways to make money is important. So that's why commercial real estate is very, important to learn because now you have another option and, more clients on that end.
Yeah.
So right now, almost all of my clients are commercial.
So if you wanted to learn more about commercial property, come to Mariah. So,
Yes.
And
Happy to help you guys.
yeah, and so look, the last thing I want you to do is I want you to talk to the camera just for a couple minutes.
Okay.
And I want you to talk to salespeople. I want you to talk to the dreamers.
All right.
To the young people, young and old. I want you to kind of give your best 1 minute, because a lot of people are hurting right now. A lot of people are struggling. Honestly, I mean, a lot. You say $500,000,
Yeah.
which I completely believe you'll do that. But you say that people are struggling right now, like to make 50,000. They're just struggling to make 25 in
Yeah.
some cases. And so, there are people right now that they need maybe a little bit of motivation.
Right.
They need a little bit of guidance. They need a little bit, maybe a little pep talk.
Yes.
If you can talk to some of these people out there and let them know that it's going to be okay, and give them your best thoughts about the future and what you think about winning and doing great.
All right. So. Well, I think that no matter who you are, no matter how old you are, time is going to pass you anyways. We are all going to be on this earth for X amount of years. We don't know how many years that is, but it's going to pass anyway. So why not go after your dreams? Stop procrastinating. And if you see somebody that has what you want, befriend them, get to know them, ask them how they got there, be resourceful. But if you sit on your couch and you continue doing the same thing that you were doing yesterday, you're going to continue seeing the same results. So in order to change and get something better and actually have what you want, you have to change your behavior. So it starts today, and it starts with making that decision. You have to make the decision and write it down. Write down the decision that you're making. What is it that you want? And write down the date that you wrote that decision and that you decided to make that decision. And then start taking actions every day, different actions. Don't stop, do not quit. And sooner enough, you're gonna begin to get closer to your goal. I'm not gonna say that this is easy or that this is gonna happen overnight, because it is gonna take time. It's not gonna be easy. You might cry sometimes, you might feel like you wanna quit sometimes, but when you continue on, even through those rough times, that's when you start to see the growth in yourself. You start to see the growth in yourself, and you start to build confidence when you continue pressing forward, failing forward, because you're not quitting, you're not a quitter. You only lose and you only fail if you quit. If you quit, that's when you fail. You're done. But if you keep going, eventually you're gonna win. It's gonna take some time, and it's gonna take, hold on. Cut it out.
It's okay. No, this is real, man. This is off the cuff.
Yeah, this is off the cuff.
Yeah, so just again, what you're saying is that if you want it, right? If you want success in your life, you're gonna have to press through, and you can't give up, and you can't just every time you get a rejection, every time you get a failure, every time somebody tells you no, you're gonna throw in the towel. And that's everybody. Everybody throws in the freaking towel all the time.
You can't throw in the towel. You cannot quit. So as long as it comes from your heart, it's something that you really want, you are dedicated to that goal, then you will do it. You will do whatever it takes to get there. So just don't quit. Take that step. Take that leap of faith.
Well, this is cool. I mean, I really enjoyed today. I mean, this was probably one of my longest podcasts, believe it or not.
Oh,
yeah,
no
this
way.
is one of my, which I'm excited about. Max is like, I gotta edit this whole damn thing, So, but I'm excited to share an up and coming successful person. I mean, most of the people on Wealth on the Beach podcast, they're already multi-millionaires. And so to interview somebody young and hungry and daring and a total absolute champion, she's got a lot to learn when it comes to the insurance business, but she is a total stud, a total winner, and really excited that you got to share your heart, your thoughts, your dream, your future, overcame some objections, taught us some things, and it was awesome. And I'm really honored that you were here today. I appreciate your time very, very much.
Thank
and
you.
I just know that your future is going to be really, really bright. So with that said, I just want everybody to make sure that if you're watching this right now, go and follow. So give us where you're going to follow you. Where are they going to follow?
You can follow me on Instagram at Mariah Cosio.
All right, so Mariah Cosio, make sure you go follow her. Share this video though. Share it with 5 or 10 people.
Share it with all of your
Each
friends.
one of you, if you shared it with 5 or 10 people, it can get to a lot of people. But again, just reach out to her, send a little DM and say, thank you, Mariah, for coming on Wealth on the Beach podcast. And just, give her a little, pat on the back and say thank you. And with that said, continue to dream bigger than ever. Make sure you get after it, but most importantly, do it now. God bless. We'll see you at the top.
Bye, guys.